What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 8 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Settra, Great King, the Imperishable, Khemri Kara, the Great King of Nehekara, King of Kings, Opener of the Way, Wielder of the Divine Flame, and many, many more campaign. So as we saw last time, High Queen Khalida got her debut battle against Volkmar the Grim, casting down the mortal for his temerity in occupying Alamia before Khalida herself and got the chance to. Otherwise, we were able to pretty much destroy the crusade of Leofric's Fellowship, obliterating, I want to say, 3-ish armies using King Wakaf and Hakor, and we'll be destroying the faction for good in a couple turns. I still kind of am surprised that they randomly declared war on us, and rather than wait for another Crusader faction to attempt to do so, we will take out the Chevalier de Lyonesse by attacking them preemptively ourselves, especially since they took out the orcs here for us, since we don't have to declare war on them until we send an army down there. Actually, speaking of sending armies down there, maybe it would be a better idea to actually just unlock more armies. I know it'll cripple our research rate, but at the end of the day, now that we have even bigger borders, and Khalida might need another army to actually recruit for her while she fights, it might be the best thing to do. So I think we'll actually switch our research then. Let's unlock the first of our heralds. I know that this one gives buffs to the Nehekara warriors, as well as the Tomb Guard admittedly, but the Tomb Guard are less likely to reach tiny amounts of HP compared to the Nehekara warriors, so I'm going to say we'll give the death blow and missile resistance to them. So Herald of Settra will go to Hakor, and frankly, Hakor has been an absolute star this campaign, and, well, admittedly, Wakaf has as well, but anyway, these two deserve their Herald, so we'll do that. And then we'll see if we can't bring down the Wisdom of the 5th Dynasty to 1 turn and then pop that off and then do the same thing with other heralds and then the Wisdom. As long as we maintain enough canopic jars, it should in theory work out. Otherwise, let's see what we gotta do. Ooh, and it's a battle we've gotta do. Panet. You're gonna move on in. We're gonna declare war on the foolish Bretonnians here by asking the Leafcutters tribe to join. Only briefly, of course, as we will afterwards turn upon them as well. And they're willing to give us 2.6k. I like it a lot. Doesn't make sense as the Chevalier de Lyonesse are doing fairly well. Strength rank 17 on the map, and remember this is the old world, so there's a lot of factions on the map, and the first like 5 slots are usually taken by broken Slaneshi factions, so these guys are pretty strong. Let's see if Panet can handle him or them as our oldest lord after Settra. So you're gonna move on and attack this little March Stancing army. And this shouldn't be a problem. I think we will still fight this, however, mostly because this is the debut battle for this army. Before we start, though, the engagement threshold remains 400 likes, 60 comments, or is it 70 comments? Whatever. And the next episode, hour-long, adjacent, whatever, etc., etc. Let's get to it. Alrighty, here we go. Excited to get the Ushabti with great bows here in numbers, and of course the Hyro Titans. Still think they are the coolest looking unit in game. I mean, look at these guys. They're just fantastic and have access to the spells of Light and Dark. Well, the basic spells of Light and Dark, Shem's Burning Gaze, and Spirit Leech. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid balanced army. We've got 3 of those units of Golden Host of Mahrok, which are more tanky than Tomb Guard are, with a massive 22,000 HP compared to the 14 to 15k of the Tomb Guard and Hekar warriors. So what I'm saying is they should be pretty good. That said, we are going to be outnumbered about 2 to 1 here, and that means our more vulnerable units like the Ushabti with Great Bow are going to be likely to get mobbed by stuff or hit by one of the 3 flying lords, 2 paladins, and I don't know what, I think the Lord's a flyer as well. And thus we're going to have to try to do our best to protect them. I'm going to start the battle off not by heading towards the enemy army, but by bombarding them. We probably could have gotten a couple of charges in with the Necropolis Knights here, to be perfectly frank, before the other army arrived, but I kind of wanted to let the Ushabti with Great Bow play a little bit and see how much damage they could do to the piles of peasants here. And with their arrows, obviously not going to be as killy here, especially if they don't spread their arrows out a little bit more, as the Chosen of the Gods Ushabti, Regiment of Renown are. But still pretty killy. There we go. Those are pretty darn big arrows after all. Do we see any of them smacking into the ground here? I want to compare the size of one of those arrows to one of the little dudes here. I don't see one, unfortunately, but I'll get. Wait, no. Okay, no, never mind. That was just some ectoplasm from the casket of souls. All good though. For now, we will just keep firing at the enemy, and let's see how much damage we've done. 1 unit of men, 2 units of men-at-arms are pretty much done, down to about 10% HP, and then about 5 more of them are down to about, I don't know, 30-40%, though how much of that was from the Casket of Souls, kind of hard to say. Actually, the Ushepti with Great Bow are out-damaging the Casket of Souls in this particular situation, so again, more power to them. Of course, they're nowhere near out-ranging the Caskets, as the Casket has twice their range nearly, but nonetheless. And just keep firing away until we have to deal with the giant peasant mobs. Ooh, that was a nice volley from the Casket, considering it's at, well, not at max, no, I'd say about half of its range, which explains why it was so accurate there. Anyway, looks like the Paladin immediately goes for the Casket of Souls, doing a little bit of damage to it on the charge, and here comes the enemy lord as well, and ooh, I like the way this barding looks. Yeah, the red and yellow, it's kind of working for me here. Alright, well, we're just going to have to deal with them. The halberd units of the Necropolis Knights will hopefully work together well enough to deal with the Paladins with their anti-large, and maybe a little bit of help with from the Tomb Guard with the with halberds as well. Honestly, kind of hard to spot the enemies underneath those snakes, but what can you do? Otherwise, we've got another Paladin who is attempting to make his way out of there and towards the other army. I mean, makes sense why you try to escape this. Bunch of snake surfing Tomb Guard moving at you, you're probably gonna book it, but anyway. Looks like the enemy are here, and it's time to march the extremely slow-moving Hyro Titan towards them. 25 move speed, and these guys, wherever we use them, are certainly going to be good choices for using the banners that increase their speed, because good lord are they slow. But always worth it. They do apply magical damage, they got Bone Crusher, they got spells, and they are incredibly tanky as well. And this guy's just posing, or maybe just too slow to immediately catch the enemy infantry, but he'll get there. Alrighty, there we go, crush a few peasants. I just want to see the laser eyes before we look elsewhere. There we go, hit him with your scales that give you access to the death magics. And come on now, laser eyes, please. Don't worry, one of them will do the laser eyes, I'm sure. Alrighty, well, they're fighting the peasants together with the Golden Host of Mahrak. The other one has... Did I just see you use the laser eyes all the way from back there? The other one's fighting another peasant mob, another pile of units. The Necropolis Knights are also doing things, but unlike the Hyro Titans, we've seen those guys fight with Kalita already. There we go. And I'm just really enjoying the Hyro Titans doing their thing. There we go, there it is. I saw him use its other two animations, I was like, it's gotta be next, right? Anyway, the enemy lord's having a bad time getting hit with repeated spirit leeches from the Hyro Titans while they fight elsewhere, and while the enemies have surrounded and closed with a bunch of our units, they're obviously not going to carry the day against most of them, especially the peasants versus the Golden Host of Mahrak or the Necro Serpents, whatever. A second Spirit Leech, or I don't know what number it was, hits the enemy lord again, and it looks like that one will bring him down. No need to even use Shem's Burning Gaze upon him. And it looks like that's going to be pretty bad for the enemy army, as I see several enemy units melting away. Looks like the Paladin has decided to go for our Necrotect here. Luckily, said Necrotect is on foot rather than on the chariot, so he's a little bit less vulnerable. But we should probably still help him out. At least in theory. Otherwise, the bounce power is very much in our favor now, just a sliver in fact, and it looks like the vast majority of the enemies are just about ready to rout. The Necro Serpents and the Hyro Titans carry the day, while of course all the Tomb Guard and the Hekaran Warriors and etc. and did their work, holding ground, taking a bit of damage, but I'm sure dishing out way more damage than they took to the piles of peasants. Very nice. Only a couple of units of Battle Pilgrims remain. I guess we can still watch them in their fight a little bit. And I suppose we've mostly been watching the sword and board variant of the Tomb Guard fighting so far in this particular campaign, rather than the halberd variant. So I might as well see these guys in action. These guys have extremely low melee attack because it's compensated for by their massive plus 20 bonus versus large. But fighting infantry, obviously, they're not going to be crazy effective at. Which is why we've been using the sword and board variant more, even though for most factions I would generally favor the anti-large, whether it be spears or halberds, over these swords. Especially in a situation where you have support units and monsters and other such things to do the damage. Speaking of support units, here comes the Tomb Bark to help out a little bit. Even if those halberds aren't enough, we've got the swords from the Golden Host of Mahrak and the Kepra beetles coming out of that Tomb Bark. I'm bringing down the last of those battle pilgrims and giving the battle to us at last. And there we go. Very, very nice. And I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty more Hyro Titans as well. We will make an army that's based around Hyro Titans as well, just probably Tomb Guard. Well, mostly Tomb Guard and maybe like 4 Hyro Titans rather than 2 here, but this one I wanted to have sort of a balance of a bunch of things, especially since we've been using Sphinxes in all the other places. Damn, you gotta love these guys, but anyway. Alrighty, there we go. A really nice fight and debut for the sort of new form of Panet's army, with the Sun Piercers, Silent Watchers, and the other Ushabti with Great Bow doing 37, 36, and 35,000 damage each. The Casket of Souls, as always, 44,000 damage, very, very solid. 22k and 209 kills on the Sand Skimmers, who took home the prize for the Sepulchral, or not Sepulchral Stalkers, for the Necropolis Knights, and the Imperishable Effigy did slightly better, and then the other Hyro Titan, well, actually twice as good, so yeah. Anyway, solid work out of the Nehekara Warriors, which we kept in this army, partly because they were already at a decent level, and partly because, well, the Golden Host of Mahrak are also Nehekaran Warriors, and we can't get the Worship of Petra for or for the Lich High Priests, which means no buffs for the Tomb Guard, or no additional buffs, so may as well just use the Golden Host. And seeing as how tanky they are, out-tanking the Tomb Guard by a fair bit, perhaps not surprising, not being quite as killy as the Twin Blade Nehekaran Warriors, but also, well, the Nehekaran Warriors also took a lot of damage. Our single entities otherwise took a lot of hurt, the Necrotect Panet himself and the Casket of Souls, but we had to deal with 3 Paladins, and that's unsurprising, because they were just going to be annoying until we did deal with them. Anyway, we're going to have to auto-resolve what remains here. But I think we should heal to full over the next turn. So I think we can heal our single entities anyway, so we might as well just end this march. Although I suppose, well, hopefully Rapunzel isn't right there to attack us next turn. I guess we're just going to have to see. Kabosh, you have the Skeleton Chariot. I'm not sure that I want that in this particular army yet. You can stay on foot for now because it makes you slightly less fragile, but we'll see. I really wish I could see what's going on over there, but anyway. Go to the Eyrie of Death and auto-resolve. This better not damage our army. 0 lost. I didn't check if the single entities got hurt, but if they did, screw you, game. And if they didn't, not screw you, game. Occupy. Alrighty, Assured Assailant, good. And yeah, we'll keep the Charnel Plaza here for now and undo the public order thing. You have also leveled, and just the once, but let's get that additional research rate on you. It's probably time to start moving through your red line. And you know what? Actually, I changed my mind. Well, see, this guy was moving around after Settra, so I didn't rush towards his red line or towards his spell work. He does need the Restless Dead pretty desperately. You know what? Fine. Let's go through Nerus or max it out and then move to Restless Dead, and then we'll max out 5th Gen Priest after Skullstorm, which we admittedly will probably need to sort of mince droves and droves of peasants around. You can have the Inscription of Repair. And we might as well get capacities for everything here. We're gonna need them. And we'll go into increased mobility afterwards. Alright, looks good to me. Fun fight, lots of fighting Bretonnians, and that's one of the fun things about Tomb Kings. You can pretty much fight anybody and everybody you want. It's great. Lots of variety. Anyway, King Rakash, you are stuck. Let's see if there's anything else that we want to recruit for you here specifically. I did want another Necro Sphinx in a different army. Let us... Build a couple more tomb barks. I know that we want several tomb barks for the chariot army, which is the secondary chariot army. It's going to be different than Settra's chariot army because it's going to be a ranged chariot army, but yeah, might as well start building those, though Khalida will need at least one as well. Actually, will she? I mean, it is a ranged unit. I'll think about it. But we have the capacities for them now. We will probably want some more Shabti with Great Bow here as well, but we're kind of out of building capacity. And we'll also need more Tomb Guard wear. Actually a little bit light on Tomb Guard capacity. Might want to get a few more. I think the Hekaran Citadels also give us their capacity, so that's fine. Anyway, as I surmised with Khalida, we're going to trespass and we're going to start moving towards the territories of the Cult of Sigmar. For now, ignoring these guys. It does mean not having this full province, but we might have a little bit of extra time while they don't super hate us as yet. It will change, but yeah, there's also a Skull Island out here that I'd like to grab, and maybe from here, or maybe after we take Libaras. We'll have to move southward again to take all of this, unless we do it with another army, so yeah. Decisions will eventually be made. In Tef, ooh, actually, you know what? I was gonna move you southward this way, but let's use you as a well, actually, go this way. We'll use you as a scout for a couple of turns, because it's still gonna be a while before we conquer Qatar and the pyramid there. You keep on taking a look around the Imperials and hopefully find some more potential trading partners. Somebody's gonna want to trade with us. All the anti-undead aversion isn't going to work so well for us here, unfortunately, but oh well, what can you do? Anybody likely here? Ooh, Knights of Calidor, yes. Yes, yes, yes. And we could take their money, but we could just do agreements for now until we're ready to send an army out there to give them a territory and vassalize them. Let's do that. And they'll make for a solid trading partner, especially since the elves like us. I'm gonna ignore you for now. Funnily enough, we could probably set up a trade agreement and thus a non-aggression pact with Esteban's Caballeros, which would prevent them from attacking us after we, or while we wipe out the Cult of Sigmar. On the other hand, if we build up an army, that could sort of follow Khalida by wiping them out, so it's, maybe not super necessary. Arguelon, actually near to trade agreement. Unfortunately, they're not fighting anybody. If they were, we might have been able to ask for the trade agreement to do so. But oh well, not a big deal. It looks like Guardians of the Valley are doing okay. Strength rank 21. Leofric's Fellowship really, really want peace. Maybe you shouldn't have randomly declared war on us for absolutely no reason. Crazy AI. Anyway, we got a little bit of cash. Let's spend it on a few more of those buildings that we need. Can we? Yes. Let's get the tier 5 Grand Pyramid here. It's expensive, but it's going to bother me to have to keep looking at the fact that it's unbuilt, so it is what it is. And otherwise, maybe something... No, not here. Not here. No, okay, screw it. Let's just end the turn then. Alright, I see those plagues are still going strong and annoying, but what can you do? I guess that's another possibly good reason to go for the wisdom of it. Wait, this went up to 4? It was at 3, but we did the Herald of Settra, which should have actually given us research point surplus, should it not? Base research point cost 400, research point surplus 188. Fine. Actually, these don't take one turn. Oh, well, then never mind. Alright, fine. Well, then screw the heralds. We can do these for one turn. These aren't actually one turn. The game is lying, but these are, yeah, they're one turn. I think the ones that cost 10,000 are as well. So we can still do that plan, though I don't necessarily want to waste 10,000 gold at the current moment. Well, let's get an additional, I'm gonna say, Sepulchral Stalker and Tomb Scorpion capacity. Oh, Tomb Guard, I was saying that we wanted some of those. You know what, let's go Patronage of the 4th Dynasty then. That should lower this to 3, 2, and then 1 by getting these, and 2.5k is not so bad. Alright, I feel like that's the more efficient way to do it. And on the bright side, the Herald of Settra will still power up. Wait, who is Patukhit? Who has a chariot? Okay, you have a chariot. Do we want you to have a chariot? Actually, you're probably better off within the line. There's no real fast movers in this army, so yeah, you're better on foot. Oh, I know what we could do. I just realized something. I was trying to decide between the Disciple of Sokth and Disciple of Walat. Walat helps Carrion, Sokth helps Tomb Scorpions, but the thing is, Sokth also gives a huge buff to the unit that actually has it, because it gives that 15 damage resistance ward save Scorpion armor. This is an absolute necessity on any Necrotech that has a chariot, but any Necrotech that's going to stay on foot and not on a chariot, and would probably thus be better off taking this, because he shouldn't need this nearly as much. And then, yeah, this way we'll get both. Alright, I like it. The decision finally made. Also, King... Wait. You have leveled up... Oh, we should go through this. And then King Fogdem. Let us... I mean, let's see. What do we have here, just out of curiosity? Raiding, sacking, post-battle loot is fine. This is kind of meh. Unleash Rage, missile, and weapon strength when attacking. Missile resistance when attacking. There's some good stuff in here, I gotta admit. Enemy armor reduction. Indomitable versus reinforcement range. Yeah, generally speaking, they have the Tomb Lords, or the Tomb Kings rather, just generally have better stuff than the priests do. But that's probably unsurprising. We could always switch the priests out to be follower armies later on if needed. But anyway, Canopic Jar Hoarder, do we want to max you out? Let's max you out. Alrighty, and then you... Oh, wait, no. You're going to have the Herald of the Scorpion for obvious reasons. Hakor. Yeah, nobody's going to have as many Hekara warriors as you, so you can have the Herald of Settra. And Deathblow. Yeah, they'll get the most value out of it, out of anybody, I think. Alright, good for you. Okay, Nakai, you're making me real nervous. Ooh, he does not like us. Is he actually trying to move towards the Volkas, which are here at the Spider God idol? Or is he trying to move towards us? I'm not sure. Oh man, can we risk this? I guess if these two are beside each other, we could, though they wouldn't immediately then be able to move towards the salt plain, but maybe we'll keep them together just in case Nakai attacks. Again, we were looking to fight the lizards. Honestly, if he was a little bit closer, I would just attack him instead. You know what? Let's do this. We'll kill off this little army. You can move in. You two stay nearby each other. It's not like it's critical that we wipe these guys out this turn. If Nakai keeps moving southward, we can take this opportunity to attack him. And though there are some very strong armies held by these guys as well. I mean, it's a lot of dinos. Yeah, alright. So, you're gonna do this. We'll wipe this... Oh. Okay, then you can just go back to the here anyway. I think. I'm just gonna assume that you can. And go kill Veronique Paravant. Auto resolve. This better not damage our arm. Oh, I didn't check what the auto resolve said. No, we're fine. 0 loss. And I'm gonna say pick up Endless March again, just for the movement range. Hey, Tombfleet Taskmaster. Very nice, Wildcow. Very nice. Alright, and then you're gonna go right here. You can't switch out your stance, but you two can fight Nakai together if you need to. Again, I wanted to save him for Settra, so I just want to see what he does, but either way, in case he attacks us, these guys need to protect each other. Alright, Settra. These guys still not... No, these guys are getting themselves killed to a siege that they don't need to be, considering they could easily win the fight with the massive garrison, but the garrison is lost like a quarter of its... or 40% of its HP already. Alright, we gotta wipe these guys out and save our vassal here. Our extremely incompetent vassal. Auto resolve, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but it is what it is. Like so. And Seasoned Campaigner. Campaign movement range is nice. Perfect Vigor, I believe we will also get via tech for every single one, unit, lord, whatever, on the map, so not a big deal. We will go to Worship of Construction Reduction, I guess, wait, is there Worship of Fast Movement? Yes, there is. Worship of Petra, yes, we'll do that. Mountains of Dawn. Because potentially we'll need to go down here, and then we'll need to cross back over the mountains to deal with Kugath and ideally Nakai. You start building military structures, and yeah, just upgrade the mausoleum as well. Alright, looks good to me. And aha, these guys do have an army out here. Wellity. I guess they are trying to move towards Khalida directly. I'm so glad I kept the, or re-upped the mod in the Lokir campaign that buffs the, that buffs these types of troops. As in puts their stats in line with SFO, and once again, I really appreciate the tip in my, I want to say, Empire campaign, where that originally came from, but anyway, you're gonna go to Zelabzel. Anybody here? I see Aurelien d'Aquitaine, but I don't see where their main army is. Hopefully it's not moving down here to Pit of Kem Setef, or Senef rather, because we've invested in it. Alright, we can, I guess, start building this, but it's not super critical. You go here, besiege this. Can we trust an auto-resolve? I mean, we can auto-resolve it. I'm just wondering whether we can trust it because we don't know where their main army is. I'm going to risk it because this is obviously a hilarious waste of time because we just killed twice as many troops with no problem at all. This is definitely going to hurt. Alright, let's see how bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay, well, what can you do? Occupy. And let's just hope that the enemy can't immediately attack us. I'm actually surprised that the auto-resolve hates this army too. Not enough melee troops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 melee infantry. What more do you want, game? That's already a lot. Okay, anyway, King Fogdam, you are going to have to, in theory, do the same thing at the Bronze Gate, which is kind of weak. I would, however, like Prince Psamtik to move southward for a second. I just want to see... Ooh, first of all, I want to see what's going on here. Control +1 on adjacent provinces. Wins magic powers of capacity +3 faction-wide. Growth 5+5 all provinces. Yeah, these idols got some nice stuff. Well, that's the Idol of Mork. What does the Spider God idol do? Construction cost for all buildings. Those are some nice barrier idols. And what about this? Income from all buildings faction-wide. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, so whoever was occupying that would have had to die. Anyway, I don't see a Kugat, so we should be safe to auto-resolve this. Pyrrhic Victor. Pyrrhic Victor. Are you insane, game? Why do you hate the Tomb Kings? Wow. Really? Okay. Oh, good lord. Okay, well, maybe it doesn't hate the Tomb King so much as it loves the Nurglites? I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. Hopefully with sufficient red line buffs that'll fix itself. In fact, maybe we should start moving through them. Let's start with Sun-Scorched Bones. Buff of the Tomb Guard, because without techs as they currently are, their armor is still relatively low. And then the Lich Priest, you still need to go all the way towards Sekhmet's. However, maybe you should get a couple points in replenished troops since the auto-resolve dislikes us so much. Oh, actually that makes me think that we will also need additional troop replenishment bonuses in the armies that are led by a Lich High Priest, because we don't have the bonus replenishment then. If that's the case, it's going to be something of a problem to use those guys as main lords, but we'll see. Anyway, you can replenish the troops. Wait, Herald of Settra? That's what do I do? Oh, it's doing that bug thing again, isn't it? Yeah, we're doing patronage of the fourth dynasty. So that's fine. Khalida, you're about to fight. We'll fight in a second. Let's just move everybody else. Okay, so we found Mr. Imric, who we wanted to trade with. Is there anybody else that we want to find here that we could potentially want to trade with? This is probably full of rats. Yeah, this is Pestilence. They'd probably not like us so much. Elves seem to be reasonably friendly. I think Scout's job is now done. I mean, ooh, hello, Kotep. Oh, you're still alive? Oh, thank you. I am so happy that you're still alive. Alright, I'm pretty sure we can beat him up in order to confederate him, like 99% sure. I gotta double check. Although I find that actually pretty weird. It should be the other way around, shouldn't it? Because Kotep is the head of the mortuary cult, so, you know, mortuary cult should be the way to actually get him to confederate. And while Settra may have kicked him out for his half-truths about immortality, the fact is Kotep is still absolutely loyal to Settra, and if Settra just asked him back, and he'd immediately fall in line. So really Kotep should be here, and the warrior queen would probably be more likely to actually be confederated via duel instead, I feel. But anyway, what do I know? Princess Scout, you... I guess keep going north. Well, there is Elf Town here. The elves do like us. Let's go up to Elf Town, see if we can't trade with them. And I wonder how the Dark Elves feel about us. Might be willing to trade. Anyway, keep going past Mahrak, which really kind of bizarrely doesn't have a landmark at all. Is that weird? It did in the It did in the original thing, right? In the original thing in Immortal Empires. But it doesn't here. I wonder why. Well, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Wait, and where is... Just out of curiosity, wait a moment. This is Qatar. We don't have any other ones, do we? Just checking everything. Numas, the Bronze Gate, Mortis Tarn. Wait, don't we have the City of Bronze at Casa Bar? I remember making a lot of money in Immortal Empires, but... well, whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore it all. Anyway. Sephiroth, you are just gonna sit here. Actually, no, wait, you leveled up. Oh, that does nothing for us right now. Scout. Scout 2. I got distracted, and then I was like, wait, where was I gonna send you? You might actually be done. There's nobody that we want to necessarily ally or trade with here, is there? Certainly not the Chaos factions, or the Orcs that are in these territories. There's some Dwarves here, but even these guys don't like us due to the undead aversion, and the fact that we are allied with Elves. So that seems unlikely. Meaning I think Scout 2 may have served his purpose. Alright, I'm hoping I'm not wrong about this. I'm gonna leave him right here for now, in case I think of something, just so I don't jump the gun and delete him like I did that other little mini-lord last time. Anyway, Khalida, kill. Go after Rickard Holdorf. We'll trespass in these guys' territory again, but what are they gonna do about it? Nothing, that's what. Oh. It's a pretty weak army. Do we actually want to bother fighting this? We fought like twice as many troops under... and significantly better troops, I might say. Yeah, I think we just auto-resolve, it's whatever. Some damage, but with the heals it should be fine. And hey, we got a Helm of Discord out of it, and we should hopefully heal up well enough while we travel anyway. Hope I'm not wrong about this. Oh, more trespassing. Minus 16 corruption on you, pretty good though. Do we want to maybe give you the helm in case anybody comes to the melee line? Yeah, maybe. Be a decent carrier for it for now. Forbidden Rods are going to... well, actually, technically these guys as well, but only after they... okay, well, actually, you do have Restless Dead, so you're free to get it. Where do we have? Helm of Discord. Alright, and then Khalida herself has leveled. We have Warrior Queen now. Let's grab... I'm going to say Embodiment of Asaph first, because we need 2 points to get regeneration out of Purified. But 1 point in Embodiment of Asaph still gives us the immunity to contact effects for the snakes, and I really like that. Alrighty, and then, wait, what about the Priest Man? Let's get you Earthing, and these guys miscast constantly, at least. I guess maybe we're missing a tech for them or something, but, yeah. Let's counteract that a teensy bit. Anyway, was anybody else besieging or are we good? We're waiting to see what Nakai does. Fogtum is stuck where he is. Settra has taken out the Granite Massive. We're going to see what Blazkak the Wise does over the next turn, so I think we'll just build some buildings and do a little bit more fighting. Alright, City of Kings. How do we want to deal with you? I was tempted to move one of these statues here so that we could build the Mortuary Sanctum here instead. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Let's say move the... well, let's just do the Scorpion building because it's faster than, you know, doing this twice. Alright, Necropolis of Khemri, you are missing. Not the Treasure Tomb, I mean you are missing the Treasure Tomb, that's not what I wanted to build here. You have the Nehekaran Citadel. We will probably want to do the Revered Mausoleum. Yeah, let's start going through the Revered Mausoleum. It's 4 Canopic Jars per turn, but it's capacity of everything, so it's pretty darn worth it. Alright, Lower River Mortis, what do we have here? That's a lot of Golden Age monuments, and they are expensive, but like I said last time, I think we're just gonna build up everything now, rather than, you know, pick them out just because I'm too lazy. So, Lone Column, and then let's build these. They'll all be built up soon enough, and then we won't have to make our choices and just build whatever we need anyway soon. Anyway, a lone column here. We are building these everywhere in theory. In practice, we will probably eventually remove them all out of the main settlements and replace them with military structures, but for now that isn't needed. I would like you to have a Mortuary Sanctum, and I would like you two to be upgraded. And I guess we can do the lone column here as well. You are... oh. Let's build a pyramid. Oh, we're out of cash. Okay, so let's end the turn then instead and see if some of those gambles paid off or didn't pay off. End turn. Oh, great. This absolute garbage faction lost its main settlement. Okay, Settra, go kill them. Why must you be incompetent? Alrighty, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Recruit the following missile infantry mission issued. Didn't we just have that? What? We can recruit a missile infantry, why not? Yeah, we're just going to have to get this back. Still a little bit damaged. Yeah, they easily would have been able to defeat this army if they had actually, you know, attempted to defend it rather than sitting there and taking attrition over and over and over again for like a dozen turns or however long it was. But that's the AI for you. They're generally useless allies. We're not, it's not their units that, I mean, it's their units that we want. It's not their whatever else they do. Yo, go into raiding stance, move down here. Is Rapunzel down here, perhaps? Nope, but she certainly shouldn't be at the Idol of Petra, so, well, I'm gonna have to kick him out of there. And, ooh, are we in range now, the Swords of Change? Let me just see here. Zinch. We are 11 settlement. Oh, wow, these guys have... Really? Huh, they've certainly spread out. Well, we have no choice but to immediately declare war on them, otherwise they will cause Zinch shenanigans and move our territories around, and we can't have that. It's too irritating. Just declare war on them? Yeah, sure, whatever. Alright, and we're gonna have to rebuild that outpost now as well. Ooh, actually, do we have a mission from you guys? Blazkak the whatever? Yes, let's get revenge. At least our allegiance is growing fairly well because Settra has a plus 50% bonus to allegiance generation, so it's pretty solid. Wow, you are getting like nothing out of the raiding. I think you're actually better off just healing up here. Or entombing beneath the sands. It'll heal you more. Yeah, let's do that. Alrighty, what about you? I believe I said I wanted the Restless Dead. Let's get Petra's Incantation of Righteous Smiting to buff up the Ushabti with a Great Bow, and then we'll go for the Restless Dead and then Skullstorm. Alright, anyway. Settra's moved, Penance moved, Hakor. What did... Ah, man, I mean, we could take the opportunity to wipe Nakai out and start taking these. Settra is a long way away. It's gonna take him like 20 turns to get here. And I fear that... It's just gonna take too long, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And I think we're gonna have to let Nakai go. Sorry, Nakai. He might be back. It's possible. Probably not, but it's possible. Anyway, we'll attack you in a second then. Let's see what else we got. King Fogtem, do we want to just... I guess we'll just move you north. Stay in your own territory so that you can heal up as much as possible. And head towards the Great Idol of Mork? Yes. Where's the Great Idol of Mork? It is. And Psamtik. Just check out what's going on here. You gotta find Kugath at some point. I know that he's fighting somebody to the north, but, well, he's not here yet. Again, it takes a little bit of a while for them to sort of turn towards us, and that's unsurprising. Alright, let's kill poor Nakai. Who of you two will want the defensive trade? It's gonna be Walkoff. He loves his duels, and I think that's not gonna change. The Lich-Eye Priest has low melee defense, but he'll never be fighting anyway, and it's not like he can get a mount. So, yeah. Alrighty, you gonna go into regular stance? Who are you at war with, Nakai? You are currently at war with the Volkas. Again, still alive. We will join your war against the Spirit of the Jungle for 5,000 gold. Yes, good. These guys can't be occupying the barrier idols and taking 5 landmarks from us for obvious reasons. Nakai, you're going to be something of an issue for us, so we will make sure to... None of this will help us here, right? Well, I guess the magic item drop chance is nice, but it won't do anything for our units here and help us in this particular fight. Walkoff, you're a great duelist, but you're not going to be able to take Nakai. There's no way. Absolutely no way. Do they do fire damage? Let's see. Yeah, we got some fire damage. Ooh, Fire Leech Bolas. Oh, Lord. Okay, yes. No, we need fire resistance. Fire Leech Bolas are insanely strong against Tomb Kings. Actually, they're insanely strong against everything, but, you know. Anyway, Lich Priest. Much as I'd like to... Well, no, it's just gotta be Sekhmet's. Alright, here we go. Now let's see if I can pull this off. It's Nakaiing time. He's gonna run, but he won't be able to run far enough away. I kind of don't see Nakai running, but anyway. Here. Ooh, actually, that's gonna make it more difficult because you're gonna have to go into March Stance to follow him. But that's fine. Alright, away we go. Pyrrhic victory still, yeah, unsurprisingly. It's a lot of dinos, and we got Temple Guard. He's got a really good army, and again, he's doing really well. This should be a great fight. Go. Alrighty, we march indeed. Let's see if Wakaf's army can take on that of Nakai, or at the very least wait for the other army to arrive on field and help out. Ooh, big old bomb drop from those flyers with the Fire Leech Bolas, although it does look like the enemy Feral Basti took a bunch of hits to the face from those Spokal Stalker shotguns, which are quite good at pretty much everything in terms of damage. So that thing's pretty much out of the picture pretty darn quick. That said, there's a lot more enemies here, Temple Guard and such, that we're going to try to dish out damage to before we take too much damage in reprisal. Here come the enemy Chameleon Stalkers, and with their fire damage dealing and weakness to fire, additional weakness to fire that they offer, they're a very, very solid unit to be using against the Tomb Kings in general. That said, we have deployed over on essentially one side of Nakai's army, so we're trying to do as much damage to it as possible. A non-overcast Skullstorm comes down just to both hit the enemy and, well, frankly, if it clips our summon, the Skeleton Warriors, we don't really care, but the rest of our army, or at least this portion, fast-moving portion of our army, is going to now start withdrawing. Of course, our Skeleton Archers, Skeleton Horse Archers, will continue doing their work, and the Snakes can sort of run a little bit, turn, and fire off a little bit more. They do move at 75 move speed, so that'll be just fine. You do have to be a little bit wary of them fighting Blessed Cold One Spear Riders, though. They're anti-large and will be able to do a lot of damage to the relatively fragile Spokal Stalkers in melee, so just backing off as much as we can. Maybe bringing a few of them down with our units of Skeleton Horse Archers, but we have moved in the Tomb Bark to sort of shadow our deployment here. If the Spokal Stalkers are forced to engage with this cav, which a single unit of them probably wouldn't beat. We've seen the Spokal Stalkers beat Empire Knights, we've seen them beat Knights of the Blazing Sun, but Blessed Cold One Spear Riders, probably not in a one-on-one. Fortunately for us, however, it's very much not a one-on-one, though they do actually peel away from the Spokal Stalkers to get a nice charge into Wakaf's Hunters, who lose about half of their HP on the charge, but fortunately the Blessed Cold One Spear Riders lose about 3/4 of theirs and start booking it on out of there. Alright, on the bright side, our reinforcements have arrived and we're forming up where this sort of rock, I guess just big old buried rock, is buried into the ground. Gotta make a little bit of use of our Necro-Sphinx here to kill off a few of those feral cold ones as well, but get ready to return to our line. We're going to need the big boy to fight the big dinos and Nakai himself. And again, Nakai is going to be a major issue here. Frankly, his entire army is going to be kind of an issue here. High veterancy, very strong, lots of good stuff like Temple Guard and monsters. And Nakai being the biggest monster of them all, but anyway. The Feral Cold Ones have charged on in, but this is a bad matchup for them this time. Admittedly, Feral Cold Ones are actually very, very solid units in the early game for the Lizardmen. They offer you cheap, easy access to armor-piercing damage. And I remember using them to my satisfaction in the Nakai campaign, so yeah. Anyway, speaking of, Nakai has nearly moved on in. There he goes, prancing his way forward, and looks like he actually wants to go after the Necro-Sphinx, who is going to immediately start hitting him back. Of course, Nakai has a bunch of Kroxigors with him, 4 or 5 in this army, I don't remember the full number, including at least one unit of Blessed Kroxigors, or Sacred Kroxigors rather. So a lot of damage potentially coming in from that, and the Wardens of Jet are, by the looks of it, starting to take a fair bit of damage. Ooh, we gotta remember we don't have a Necrotect in this army, so these guys are rapidly taking losses and damage against either Nakai or his other Kroxigors. The Necro-Sphinx is whacking away at Nakai, but barely any damage so far. Those stats are debuffed at least between the Helm of Discord and Crippled, so we should start racking up that damage. At least eventually, over time. But as usual, Nakai will probably be the last unit on field if we manage to pull the rest of this off. A unit of Temple Guard has actually closed the distance with the Skeleton Horse Archers, and that was my bad. We're going to move them away immediately. I was a little bit too busy with the with all the other units and with trying to deal with Nakai himself. We do have 2 armies to micro here, after all. Over on all the way the left flank, a unit of Kroxagors has in the meantime been caught by the Spokal Stalkers, led by the Eyes of the Desert, and frankly I wish they'd surround them a little bit more, but all good, as their anti-large halberds should allow them to defeat the Kroxagors, even buffed up by Nakai, as they are. The Temple Guard here are below half HP now, and are taking damage from the Coarse Sand Corsairs, and are going to probably lose that a little bit of combat. Nakai down to half HP, a little bit of a duel with Wakaf now, who is at this time, until this time, a little bit busy with other monsters on field. We're in the midst of all this, and who punched straight to the face there. But we do have to be careful to walk up. He loses half of his HP, get a few more hits in, but then we'll have to back off lest he get torn to shreds. You really don't want to mess with the guy that traumatizes demons here. At least not without a Sphinx to back you up. And frankly, the Sphinx is down to half HP as well, just like Nakai is. Walk-Up is now backing off, gonna get a little bit of healing going. And yeah, 1.2k weapon strength on Nakai without any abilities active, so yeah. Maybe not as hard hitting as Karl Franz is when he has all of his. I think he gets over 2k, but still pretty darn solid there. Anyway, it looks like the battle is very much in our favor now. Just a sliver remaining. Opacity with Ark of Sotek remains in the center of the formation, but the Necro-Sphinx is dishing out the damage with a little bit of help from those Tomb Guard. Last of the enemy monsters, a Blessed Ancient Stegodon, and there is another Stegodon out there somewhere. One's getting taken out in melee, and the other one's getting shot up with the Spokal Stalkers and the Skeleton Horses. Alright, and with that, Nakai will shatter. I'm a little bit surprised he's not unbreakable, but it's probably good for us here that he isn't. It does look like the range units were nearly taken... yeah, they would have taken out this stag. With a couple of those shotgun blasts, these Spokal Stalkers would have done it. The Skeleton Horse Archers have a relative lack of armor piercing, so they wouldn't have done too much damage. But otherwise, I'm happy. Now, just the time to catch Nakai, and there we go. Bring him down at last. Oh, with the Necro-Sphinx. I guess it was the appropriate decision to put it in this army. After all. I had previously been contemplating it with replacing it with a Hyro Titan here, because the Hyro Titan would have shared a upgrade tree with the Ushabti that we have here. But wait, no, we don't have the Ushabti. Well, not in Wakoff's army, but in the other army. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Now, speaking of the Ushabti, I think Nakai or one of the Kroxagors took out 8 of their number and did about 60% of their HP and damage. So definitely a tough fight, but I guess he is out. Alrighty, there we go. Decisive victory, but definitely a toughie, as Nakai is an absolute monster, and while Wakoff is great and all, this is a hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby sort of situation, as he would have had no chance against Nakai alone. Frankly, he barely had a chance against Nakai with the Necro-Sphinx, but that's more of a testament to Nakai rather than an indictment of Wakoff or any of our units. A very, very nice fight, and well, I don't know whether Nakai will be back, so we'll have to just make sure that we enjoy that. Anyway, we can heal effectively to full, but I think we're in a healing stance anyway, so we're free to endless march unless I'm mistaken. Are we in our territory? Is this enemy territory? Oh, okay, this is the lizard's territory. Alright, fine. Yeah, this is what I wanted for Settra, the melee defense plus 10. It's really good on the chariot. And with that, the spirit of the jungle is destroyed. These guys can now become vassals, but I think we need to weaken them significantly and give them a bunch of territory in order to do that. Just out of curiosity, I really don't care about the Swamp of Terror. Not quite there yet, but with peace and with several territories, maybe. Again, all the swamp, they can keep all their swamplands, I really don't care. It's the barrier idols and stuff. To make this thing worth more, the best course of action would be to build another military structure in here, I guess, rather than the wall structure. And ideally upgrade it, but yeah, it would be nice if the lizards just lived in the gross swamps, and then we can just keep the good deserts for ourselves. Well, we'll see if we can make it happen. Either way, you two are stuck here for the turn, and Wakov, you leveled up just the once. I would have given you another level for defeating Nakai, or at the very least defeating his army. Anyway, here... I guess we're trying to get towards Resurrect, and we should probably get there as fast as possible. Let's max out maybe... I'm going to say Elite Cavalrymen first, because it affects both our Horse Archers and the... well, actually it just affects the Horse Archers, but nonetheless. And they're kind of the weakest unit in this army, and thus they need the most buffs as compared to the others. And then Hakor... You have Resurrect, so you're not in as dire straits, I suppose. You have Blessing of the Aspen, Unfading Memory, so you still need, I guess, Dune Rider for these guys, and then Ancient Stone for... Wow, you need just all of them, don't you? Kind of spread out all the units. Well, Dune Rider is a much, much better thing. Armor, melee attack, and physical resistance versus leadership, absolute trash. A little bit of weapon strength on monsters and spell resistance on monsters again, which is spell resistance. Ugh, who cares? Oh no, our Hyro Titan got hit with a spell. It did 0.1% damage to him. But anyway, let's go and continue, shall we? King Thutep. All right, so you are going to go and make a delivery to Settra. Deliver him 2 Tomb Guard as well. Okay, actually, I need to try to remember what he wanted. So, this thing needs to be replaced with a Khemri and War Sphinx. You need to be replaced with a Tomb Guard, and then the Tomb Prince needs to be replaced with a Tomb Guard. So 2 Tomb Guard and 1 War Sphinx, assuming we keep the Necrotect, which we will for the kiddies, and we'll keep the original Charioteer Tomb Prince as well as the Mage. I mean, in theory, Settra casts already, but I kind of like the presence of the additional Mage here. In fact, you can be Settra's title reader. Nectanebo, the title reader. Alright, there you go. Somebody has to act as his herald, as the princes are probably a little bit busy actually fighting, whereas the mage is just kind of sitting there, occasionally casting the spell and all. Maybe weave the words between your spell work. Anyway, you need a Khemri and War Sphinx to make your delivery. So take out these Nehekar horses. Grab the War Sphinx, not the Necro Sphinx, and you have 2 Tomb Guard, and get a 3rd one. Well, I guess these 2 are going to Settra, so get one of these. And then we'll see about the rest. You'll come back shortly anyway. Hope you can essentially meet with Settra in Kugath's territory. Do you need any more things? Yeah, no, grab another Tomb Guard for now. I'm not entirely sure. Ultimately, it doesn't matter since you're coming back, but yeah. Like I said, since this army is kind of similar to Settra's, I'm not super worried about it getting to fight right now. Just gotta get Settra the rest of his stuff. And I'd like to get him his Elite Tomb Guard as well. Oh! Just realized, if we build the building here at Nimas, well, hopefully by then we'll actually have an additional dynasty up and running. Yeah, maybe that's a better way to do it. So let's go for the patronage of the 3rd dynasty. Keep doing these. Max them out until this is down to 1 turn, or this is down to 1 turn, and get it. And then do the same thing with these, and yeah, unlock everything, and then Herald's Empowered, which will give us an additional 2 army capacity. I want the sort of legendary or pseudo-legendary kings running around. Anyway, you keep proceeding. You know what? You're better in Entombed Beneath the Sands as it heals more, right? Yeah. Go Entombed Beneath the Sands, heal fully, and then march stance all the way to Cape Carpentharia. Scout 2. I still haven't decided what to do with you, so just sit there. Sephrafeh, you are still where you're supposed to be. Intef, I see no enemy stacks here, so get ready to move towards Numos. And scout the 1st. Go find the elves here. Now, I wonder how the Wood Elves will feel about us. I think our relationship bonus is plus 40 only for high elves, unless I'm mistaken, so... Oh no, we're about to lose the 20 charge bonus. It's a bit of a shame. I wonder when those, effects that we had early in the game will come up again. You know, the ones that gave us a bunch of buffs for everything. It said they'd appear in 50 turns, so I guess hopefully soon. Unless it's not exactly 50 turns and it's random. Well, we'll find out. Either way, let's build the buildings and let's move on. Okay, so City of the Kings, we can ignore Great Pyramid of Settra, ready to go to tier 5. Good lord, that's insanely expensive. Does this actually give us anything right now? You know what? Wait. At least for now. I think we'll get more mileage out of additional growth and additional money everywhere else than we will out of that. Tier 4 is probably more important than Tier 5 for a number of reasons. Anyway, Lower Ash River, yes to the money. Necropolis of Qatar, yes to the Marble Monolith, easy. Land of the Dead, we've got a Marble Monolith, go figure. Upper Ash River, Marble Monolith, and whatever this thing is called, and then another Marble Monolith. And let's keep upgrading the Mortuary Sanctums for money faction-wide, extra money faction-wide. Yeah, let's start building the Pyramidians here as well. Your public order is now fine, so we no longer need this here either. And we'll build another Pyramidian here afterwards. Lovely. Alright. Amsu's Charge, you're a military province, so we can ignore you for now. Teshert, you're also going to be a military province, because we'll need additional recruitment capabilities. Swamp of Terror, probably to trade. I'm going to leave this for now, because we did see some good lizardman armies out there. I'm a little bit worried about Teshert, in fact. Maybe we should just build the skeletal garrison here. In fact, this may be a decent place to build... Oh, I wanted to go for the Royal Burial Chamber, which we will build, because we need these everywhere. It doesn't offer any additional garrison, though. This provides us a Bone Giant garrison, at least. And we're kind of low on Bone Giant capacity right now. On the other hand, if full stack attacks, probably one Bone Giant won't make that much of a difference, so we'll see. Palace of the Scholar Kings. Well, as long as these guys don't attack, you're fine, but if they do attack, you're screwed anyway, so it makes no difference. And Numas, yes. Build up the Crumbling Temple. Maybe we should save the rest of the money to actually build your pyramid. Well, actually, no, we need to wait until it's maxed out. So yeah, just wait. You're nearly there. And what is this again? Zelabzel. Do you want to hold on to this? Just delete it. Alright. Oh, although with us now at war with the Swords of Change, I wonder how much territory they actually hold here compared to the Chevalier. Maybe it's just this territory. No, it looks like Zemesi Oasis, this place is also held by them. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit with only one army here. You know what, maybe we'll replace these with some defensive structures. Actually, you know what, replace this, but keep this. Might make it a little bit easier to defend, potentially. But we had to come down here anyway, so no choice in the matter. Anyway, I believe that's it, so we can skip on by, and end the turn? There was nowhere where we're sieging, right? Again, I have a very bad tendency to forget that we're besieging stuff in places, and then promptly end the turn without it, but I think we're okay. Alright, let's end the turn. Alright, well, in the... See, this is all I wanted from the Cathians inside the settlement, to sally out and face your foe. They had twice as many units as these guys did, and it's not like they were full of peasants either, but they sat behind the walls and cowered. Instead, the greenskins will attack us, and, well, props to them, but they're all gonna die. Alrighty, here we go. We now have the sort of marble-hewn Sphinx of Usek that has joined us, looking pretty darn fantastic, as it does. The sort of angriest regiment of renown that we have available to us in the Tomb Kings that we unlocked at level 30, and is going to come in very handy as Settra's army also does kind of lack a little bit in the way of anti-large. Oh, I also noticed that the sort of, I don't know, the big old gem on its scorpion tail is red as opposed to the... Huh. Not one of these other guys had a green gem. It might have been a different Necro-Sphinx, though. I don't remember. Nonetheless, all good. Settra, in the meantime, is closing the distance and sort of riding around. Not going to bother immediately engaging with the Giants. Just want to get the cooldown on that Wrath of Petra out so that we can get another one. I wonder if Settra's driver has a name. I also note that Settra's driver doesn't seem to have sort of the gear of a tomb guard. He's not very fancy looking, just like a regular dude. This is Bob. He drives Settra around. Anyway, speaking of Settra, gonna keep on moving. Obviously, the loose formations of piles of gobos are not going to stop the chariot of the gods. And while his damage isn't anything crazy as yet, 7,000 damage before the battle has even had a chance to begin without a single spell is pretty decent. And he's got plenty more where that came from. In the meantime, the enemy is moving towards us now. I guess they perhaps would have wanted to wait for their reinforcements to arrive, but I guess we annoyed them too much with Settra and with our artillery for them to wait. And since their reinforcements are here, it's time for the other chariots to move. And from both the left and right flanks. And spinning wings get released immediately? Interesting. Do a little bit of damage to us, but I'm glad that they got released here rather than where our troops are, as it would have done a lot more damage to the Tomb Guard. Anyway, some nice charges, taking half HP, for example, from this unit of archers, and then the same thing going to repeat itself on the other side before we move all of these guys to the newly arriving reinforcements. Settra is kind of annoying, a unit of nasty skulkers, probably one of the more threatening units of... well, gobos, at least compared to the regular gobos. Speaking of, there we go. Look at how many of them can go flying with the charge of these two blobs of chariots. The Y units being basic units is basically ideal for the chariots to just mince them like nobody's business. The enemy lord, in the meantime, has been thoroughly defeated by our bannerman, Prince Ratik. And is trying to book it on out of there, but it looks like Ratik is much quicker than the little gob is, and will cut him down with his halberd. You were supposed to die at that point, but you'll die with the... Okay, come on, man. You finish him. There you go. Alright, he lost his head, lost his shield, lost his life. And in the meantime, the Sphinx of Usek is facing off against one of the giants. And, oh, wow, it looked like it was bleeding from the eye there. The other giant, admittedly, is doing a little bit of damage to the Mao protectors here, but hopefully we can heal them up. Lots of headbutts from the giant. But I don't imagine the headbutts are going to be quite as effective as having those sort of big ol', I don't know, arm blades smash into your chest. Speaking of the giant, the first one is wavering and down to about 20% of its HP, while the Sphinx has lost about 20% of its own. Alright, looks like that matchup definitely went in our favor, and the first giant is out, in fact, with only 500 HP remaining, but the Sphinx, having broken the one, will face the other. The War Sphinx, with the help of a little bit of the other units, have also defeated the third giant, and it looks like the battle is pretty much ours. Most of the enemies have been routed. The chariots have absolutely cleaned house in the background, obliterating piles upon piles of poor little gobos. And of course with a little bit of help of Settra. And the Sphinx will start cutting down the giants as they attempt to escape. That's what you're here for, fella. And you got this immunity to contact effects aura as well. Passive ability for everybody nearby, so this is going to be quite helpful for Settra's main line. But anyway, there we are. A very, very nice little fight and great debut for the Sphinx, which was the absolute star of the show in Kotep's previous campaign. So yeah, definitely love this thing. Alright, very, very nice. The works sallied out. They, of course, managed to achieve very little, but I'm glad that they actually fought. We have enough HP to delete what remains here, so we'll take the money once again. And, ooh, chariots, look at that. 450, 480, 433, and 392 kills with 480 kills and 44,000... and 40 damage. Truly Warhammer 40k. Khemri Drift brings it home. Well done to them. As for the Tomb Barks in the center, it's the Blessed Bark of Petra, working well in concert with the Blessed Blade, and the line of Petra and the Sphinx of Usek both did well as well, with the Usek Sphinx obviously taking on those giants, which was, as usual, pretty entertaining. Lovely work. Anyway, march. Damn, the Esteban's Caballeros will indeed declare war on us. I was hoping they would wait, meaning we're gonna have to backtrack with Khalida now. Unfortunate, but fortunately they're not super far, and while they'll probably take the Palace of the Scholar Kings, there's nothing they can do to take Libara, so we should be okay there. Alright, Agents of the Moon mission successful. Do we have immediate new mission? Yes, indeed we do. Bruno Valgar. Ooh, Kugath. Wait, this will show us where he is. He is all the way up here. Alright, so... Oh, right, he was fighting the Red Shield, so it makes sense why he's up here. Oh, I wonder if we can meet him here with Settra as soon as we're done with these guys. That would be swell. Oh, they attacked us outside the garrison, too? Good for them. Really good for them. But anyway, we'll take... Which mission is the closest? I guess Dagobert Roxburger, because we'll have to backtrack to Temple of Tahoth anyway. Alright, fine, accept this mission. Alright, ally mission successful, enemy killed in battle, dynasty researched, and you're gonna march stance into... Actually, you can just channel and march this way. Is this army still here, I wonder? It is indeed. It's not the same guy, but I guess he did not decide to attack us here. Alright, fair enough. Dynasties. We got now 1 turn of Wisdom of the 5th Dynasty, eh? Well, isn't that lovely? Alright, so we'll take the Wisdom of the 5th Dynasty, which will immediately enable us to get a new army up and running, in which we will go and upgrade here so that they can recruit for Khalida and get her full stack, and also obviously help out, because this is a lot for one army to handle. Frankly, we want another army down here ASAP, since we're now fighting Zinch and the Bretonnians, and thus one of these... Well, we'll probably have to split one of you off, but anyway. You I care about the least right now because you're the Sphinx army, and it's going to be a ridiculous overpowered army anyway. Well, okay, we're not going to just make it full of Sphinxes because that's ridiculous, but it'll still be quite powerful. But anyway, you are going to go meet with Settra, so you got a long ways to go, so get to traveling. Alright, speaking of Settra, kill the remnants of these guys. I'm going to assume that you could just auto-resolve what remains here. There is a garrison, but it's basically severely beat up and close victory, but nothing will die, so we're good. Auto-resolve. Chariots are damaged. Occupy. And these guys should be destroyed. We got Doomsinger. Wow, lovely. It's actually, as an item, probably better than the Blessed Blade of Petra, because the regeneration and frenzy would be nice to Settra, as he wouldn't thus have to rely on the Armor of Eternity for regen, and we could do the other purple armor, but we're not losing the Blessed Blade, obviously. And hey, he got blood-soaked. Once again, yeah, maybe it's good that we keep doing these auto-resolves. The extra HP is quite nice. A Burning Face and Gate of the Stars. Now, out of curiosity, would you be willing to trade Obelisk of whatever for this? Oh, you're not willing to... okay. Just out of curiosity, how much is... This was your former capital. How much is the Gate of the Stars worth to you? 143 versus Burning Face Camp. What? Oh, because Foz Column is your... Okay, so we won't be able to do the switcheroo until we take this so that we have a border with Foz, with the Obelisk of Usak. If we trade them the Obelisk of Usak for the Gate of the Stars, their former capital, it should work. Alright, for now, delete this. We'll fill it with military buildings. And yes, Worship of Construction Reduction. We'll fill all of these with military buildings. Probably not going to upgrade them to a higher level, but anyway. And is there anything that'll make the place grow faster? Not really. I guess if we... You know what? I guess we'll just do Worship of Petra. If we could upgrade it to tier 4, that would actually be quite nice as well. Maybe we can manage to pull that off. In fact, wait. Wait a moment. If we cancel the mausoleum here... You know what? Cancel both of these. Yeah, we'll just let this grow as much as possible, and in fact, I was gonna say build growth buildings here, but maybe we're okay. 5 turns isn't that bad. I mean, it's gonna be a while until we get up here anyway. Hopefully Kugat doesn't show up here, but we're okay. Alright! Alright, frickin' frickin' vassal faction, though. Do we still... Oh, if we're going to still trade the obelisk, can they build anything interesting here? Crane Gunners and the Sky Lanterns, both of which are kind of interesting, but it's not what we really wanted out of these guys. We'll wait. We can continue racking up allegiance either way. Upon it, head down to the Idol Petra. And auto-resolve it, I guess. Oh, I didn't even realize this was... I thought this was Bretonians rather than Tzeentchians, but anyway, auto-resolve. Not so much damage. It's a pretty weak garrison. And Western Hekara is now ours. You're going to switch to Worship of Construction Reduction, and we will immediately build a skeleton garrison here at Zelabel, and frankly, the entire province should probably be garrisoned up. We'll upgrade one of you afterwards as well. Alright, we'll wait then. Looks good to me. I guess we gotta go all the way to the edge here. Fair enough. Panet lives on the edge. Hakor. Alright, so you two... Oh, these guys are rebuilding. Well, screw you. The garrison at the Great Idol of Gork is decent. Can you take it without... I did not check the Necrotect. Genius Architect. We do want a Genius Architect for Khalida, because she's gonna have a lot of snakes to repair. So let's get her that, but it's not exactly what I wanted. Genius Architect nonetheless. You can pop on in there, get Stone Shaper, Restorer, and Wrath of the Creator. It affects units if they are constructs, and just a triple check, the Necropolis Knights do indeed count as constructs. Okay. Well, the Necroserpents do, anyway. I guess it's not like you can divide half of their HP, right? And, as usual, Canopic Jar Hoarder. Ever need more jars? Because they'll go very quickly once we start researching Heralds, getting additional heroes, unlocking every one of these lords. Ooh, which we could do right now if we wanted to. Which one is Lamazash again? Oh, he's the Ushabti guy. The Ushabti guy with the bow, to be specific. The Ushabti guy that is the Necrotect priest and has a bow. But anyway, yes, we will use you. I guess we'll push Walkoff to the Salt Plain because it has 2 armies, and Hakor to the Great Idol of Gork, where hopefully it'll heal up. He'll heal up, rather. And Pyrrhic Victory, really? Well, yeah, they got some stuff. Alright, fine, we'll maybe have to fight this. Ooh, I want to take a look at the idol itself, though. Yeah, that don't look like no Gork to me. Hey. I love it. The Orky... the Orky thing over the Orky mask over the statue's head. You know, I should have expected that, but it still amuses me tremendously. You go to the Salt Plain, please. And these ones I don't really care about. Oh, there's a little army down here. Up here, whatever. Ooh, now can we risk auto-resolving? Is this the only army up here? That's a question. Oh, they want to peace out already. Again, I'm perfectly content with them living in these swamps. They're red territories for us, but we need to take the... How many territories do you hold? 15. Yeah, there's probably a bunch of other territories here in the hills that we'd want to take for ourselves, but obviously all the barrier idols. Can we risk this? Good lord, I don't know. You might attack. This is a decent guess. You know, we might fight this because I'm not sure I trust the game. Anyway, King Rakash. Let's move everybody else around and figure this out. You should be recruiting. But you won't be able to do so until next turn. I mean, you could recruit one guy, but it's fine. You're going to actually go out. King Fogdem, you are supposed to proceed to the Great Idol of Gork. Mork. Wrong idol. And I assume he also has a mask. And how far is... Okay, so this will auto-resolve again. It's probably going to cripple our scorpions. Yep, really? It's nothing but Nurglings. All the Nurglings in this entire army couldn't hurt a single scorpion this much. What are you talking about, game? Why do you hate... okay, well, whatever. We're out healing the damage that we're taking from those guys anyway, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, I guess it's just this place, which has no army, so you're going this way as well. We saw the Kugath was moving down here. I wish you could have stayed in the healing stands, but it is what it is. Alright, and then you're going through Sun-Scorched Bones, sir. And we'll get you the Herald of the Scorpion afterwards. Well, soon, eventually. Soon as we can spare the time. The short victory is also really helping us with the additional replenishment, especially for those armies that lack the Lich Priest. You are going for additional, I think, Ushabti capacity? Snake capacity is good too. Lots of stuff is good, go figure. Alright. Rakash, wait, no, we're moving you next turn. Scout 2, still stuck, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna delete you. Sephrafeh, you're stuck there. Intef, you are headed to where you're supposed to be headed, all the way out here. Gonna take a while, but that's fine. And lastly, Prince Scout the First. Go up here. Oh, look at that, Nemesis Crown. Wait, who has this? Is it Reichland? Out of curiosity. No, it's... Oh, Oh, right, I remember Ziflin taking it in the early game, and they managed to hold on to it. Huh. I guess that's one way to not get destroyed by the greenskins there. Fair enough. Decent likelihood that Stonefangs also declare war on us here. I thought we were super intent on crossing over this territory, but Badlands is green territory for us, so something to consider. Anyway, I believe we're good to fight. So, fighting we shall do, if I can remember where. Alright, let's start with you, Hakor. This is Pyrrhic Victory. We got Croxagores, we got Cold One Riders. All these Saurus are not to be underestimated. Why not? And we're damaged at that. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We're gonna have to cut down some lizards as they defend the, by the looks of it, Orky settlement here, but that's just fine. And this time, since the enemy is unlikely to go for our artillery, and we have some damage units that we can keep back there, we will take the Golden Host of Mahrok and the single unit of Golden Host of Mahrok in this army, and then put them in the lead. They are going to be considerably slower than our other units, like the Hawk Legion, which are at 63 move speed, compared to, let me just see, the Golden Host is down to 30 with the slight reduction from the tower as well. But yeah, I do like how we have 4 different variants, essentially, of Nehekara warriors in one army. They're all Nehekara warriors, but they do different things. Like the Hawk Legion moves super fast. They don't have twin blades, so they don't attack as fast as they move, perhaps, or as fast as the regular twin blade units, but they do have immunity to flanking, and they have devastating flanker as well. Flanking masters, I guess, of either type. And then we got immunity to flanking as well on the Golden Host of Mahrok, and a massive amount of HP compared to the other Nehekara warriors, plus armor befitting or even heavier than a Tomb Guard unit. So, and these guys are getting ready to hold the line. If you're wondering why we're waiting, we had to first knock down this shooting tower, and we will then maybe bombard a few of the enemies there with Screaming Skull and with Casket of Souls. Do a little bit of damage to some Saurus here. Actually, not too bad damage, I gotta say, but we'll speed up through this until we're ready to close battle proper, as we've seen many a bombardment in the past. Anyway, it looks like some Croxagores want to pass right in front of our army, so we're going to just charge them as we can. Oh, look at that. Look at those little guys run. They'll get faster soon enough. Hey, Screaming Skull, relax, go attack somebody else. Oh, I like this color scheme on the Croxagores. A solid paint job. Alrighty, there we go. The Croxagores turn and are actually going to fight rather than continue running, and I do believe there was a unit of Saurus warriors here together with them as well. Can't quite see between the little column and whatever this is here, unfortunately, because the camera won't go there, but I'll get... Or at least the camera won't go there on the ground below like this. Anyway, for now, this is all we've got to do. Just cut down the Croxagores as well as the Saurus that are holding the line. Gonna take a bit, but with the help of the Necrosphinx, that should at least speed the matter up a teensy bit. And those anti-large blades certainly coming in handy now that we have the Necrosphinxes in several armies. There are some units over on the left flank as well, and we'll probably send a few of the other of our infantry units back there to help out. Simply because otherwise there would be too many units that would just get bogged down blocking each other, and thus wouldn't be doing anything. There they go. They will find and fight some enemies, whichever enemies they may. Oh yeah, execution animation. Didn't quite catch that, but we'll see it again. I do like that. It actually does remind me of the same, so not quite the same, but they've got a similar flavor, I should say, to the execution animation on the Ushabti, as in the regular Ushabti, where they also lift a unit up. Not toss a unit up like this, perhaps, which is pretty brutal. Granted, this feels like a bit of a waste of a... this Necrosphinx is just having a time of its life. It's a waste since the Necrosphinxes don't do nearly as much splash damage as the War Sphinxes do, which is why you're better off making use of their anti-large to attack monsters, calves, single entities, etc., etc., etc. But otherwise, it's a heck of an animation, so I'm happy with it. Anyway, it looks like while we wanted to charge a unit of... it wasn't these guys. There's a skink skirmisher unit here, but I think the other one ran away or something. It looks like a unit of Saurus spears took their place, so out here we'll have some of the Hawk Legion face off against the Saurus. Actually, an interesting matchup. I just want to see the stat comparison. So the enemy has significantly more melee defense than we do, plus 25. A little bit less armor, and, well, considerably slower, but not actually all that slow. At 40 speed, they're buffed up pretty well here in the settlement. 56 weapon strength, so they hit harder, but that's hardly surprising. I would expect a Saurus to hit harder than a skeleton. I'd say a decently even matchup between the two. We have higher melee attack, they have higher melee defense. Without healing, I'd probably give this matchup to the Saurus, but who knows. We shall see. On the other hand, though, they have spears and we have, well, they're anti-large and we're anti-infantry, so that's working in our favor as well. Alrighty, and it looks like the Hawk Legion are actually in pretty decent shape so far, whereas the Saurus Spears are sort of dying. Wanted to try to move at least a couple of the Twin Blades in to help out, but they're kind of trapped behind the rest of the units, so like I was saying before, not too many units will be able to attack through these choke points at once. This little Hawk Legion unit has lost its head, but is still very much in the fight. Keep on swinging that sword. And we'll cut these guys down eventually. Over where the main fight is happening, we are now facing off against more Croxagores, this time as well with some Cold One Spear Riders, or not just Cold One Riders, regular ones, as well as some, by the looks of it, now destroyed units of Razor Gores. Unsurprising that they died. I believe we hit them with our artillery and then they went into rampage, which made them charge forward towards us, which obviously was not going to go well against Ushapti and the Necrosphinx on the front line. That said, we do have to be careful with them both, as between the Croxagores and the Cold One Riders. And there's a lot of armor-piercing damage there, and both of them will be in danger. Probably should push them back behind the line of waiting Nehekara warriors. In the meantime, let's see what we've got. We are waiting in the wings a little bit. We've got Nehekara horsemen as well as the Storm Riders of Xar want to break through this line of Saurus spears and send them forth into the enemy settlement to maybe get around the enemies, but, well, it ain't happening yet. And if it ain't happening yet there, we can at least get some use out of these guys by rear charging the elements of the Cold One Riders that are, for some reason, on this side of our blob. Well, they'll be on no side soon enough. No, they'll be on the other side soon enough, as in dead. And and there we go. The charge hits them with the admittedly still damaged from the previous battle Storm Riders of Xar, but they gotta be in here with the rest of the Nehekara horsemen. As we work on those Cold One Riders, which are steady and fresh unit, losing decisively. Yeah, I would think so. They're down to about 15% of their HP. The Necrosphinx is still in the lead, but at this point has started to take a fair bit of HP damage. That was dishing it out as well. There is an enemy Basti with Reviv Crystal here as well, which is really good positioning by the AI, as it's essentially keeping the Croxagores and the other units forward and allowing them to get the heals from that Reviv. Which is pretty great. It's also explaining the length of the brawl here. These Saurus are still in the fight, and yeah, this is a lengthy brawl too, despite the lack of Reviv Crystal, but hey, I like a nice infantry brawl. While tactically it ain't anything crazy, as in there isn't much to say about it tactically, at least until we've broken through this choke point. Most of our other battles have a lot of movement, whether it be with the chariots, with the Spokal Stalkers and skeleton horses, and etc, etc. And sometimes it's nice to just get the old-fashioned sort of infantry blobs fighting each other. We'll get a little bit more of this once we build our Tomb Guard and Hyro Titan army. I'm hoping we can at least get a few of the special Tomb Guard in there as well. One element of the special Tomb Guard, the Sphinx Legion, are going to be with the Sphinx-centric army, not the Hyro Titan army, so that'll function a little bit differently thanks to the extreme mobility of the Sphinxes compared to the extreme immobility of the Hyro Titans. Actually, that would probably work best with the specific legion, the unit that forces themselves to sort of sit in place to get their buffs. I forget what they're called. But they're not named Sphinx Legion. Oh, wait, I was talking about the Hydro Titan ones. Well, we'll see if we can unlock them and where they are. But anyway, for now, the fight continues. Trying to get that Necro Sphinx to move towards that darn Reviv Crystal and knock it out. Unfortunately, it keeps getting distracted by having to fight those darn Croxagores. And well, just generally lots of different types of lizards here. Ooh, and I just see a bunch of units fly down the cliff. Okay, but it looks, or the hill, but it looks like they do get revived. As in, they get back up. I was a little bit worried that that was enough of a drop to insta-kill them, but it looks like we're good. Would have been concerning otherwise. Anyway, the constructed criticism unit of Ushabti are down to half of their HP, though it looks like we are starting to clear the way a little bit. There are less and less units around the Reviv Crystal with every sort of passing moment, which will hopefully soon enable us to actually bring the darn thing down. And funnily enough, against the things like the Croxagores, the Kepra beetles from the Doombark, that's not bad either. Toombark aren't going to be doing crazy amount of damage. And I noticed that all that Reviv has made the Croxagores actually reach their healing cap. But that's one way to win it. And just out-heal them. In the early game, it wouldn't have been possible, as we didn't have enough healing at that point, and even in this one, we don't have access to the Realm of Souls. We still haven't gotten Realm of Souls 3 a single time in this campaign. This campaign's not ending until I get it to happen at least once. We might need an army with multiple mages to be able to summon additional skeleton warriors that disappear. And we have, like, at minimum 5, and most of the time around 7 units of infantry in every single army. And they still never lose enough units to activate the Realm of Souls enough times. And in Wakov's army, for example, we have the infantry plus the skeleton horses, which are both numerous and quite fragile. But I digress. For now, ooh, just like the enemy, the Necrosphinx has also reached its healing cap. Interesting. Unfortunately for them, their healing is on the way out, as the Basti with Healing Crystal is down to 25% of its HP, and the strategy with lizards is generally to bring 2 Basties with Reviv Crystals, because they generally don't heal themselves. Huh, you have regen on you, though. Wait. The entire enemy army has regen. Oh, well, that explains it. So they have Reviv Crystal plus regen going? Oh, wow. Okay, well, that explains everything. I was wondering why this brawl was taking so long. It's being so difficult, but everybody's starting to reach their healing cap. But yeah, if you're combining both regen and the Reviv, then that's definitely the ability to out-heal us. Oh, well. At least the Reviv will soon be done. Now it's peeled away from the rest of our units. Our own Necrosphinx backed off a little bit since it had been taking damage, but dishing it out as well. 37,000 damage on the little fella. And a couple more strikes to that Basti should bring it down at last. A regen or no, we should hit harder than the regen does. And what I was saying still holds true. You generally want to use 2 Bastis together. Or 2 Reviv Bastis together, because they don't heal themselves, and you want them to be able to heal each other, as well as your other troops. Plus, there's the fact that they have a limitation on the number of units they can heal at the same time. I believe it's 5 other units. Anyway, down it goes, at last brought down by the blades of the Necrosphinx, and as soon as the Reviv Crystal falls, the enemy army gives up. They still had their regen available to them, but in the meantime, we had captured all the key points in the enemy settlement, and we're about to capture the very last one as well. A very nice fight and a heck of a brawl against those never-endingly healing lizards. Alright, there we go. No problem. A little bit of damage to the Sphinx because this army has been waiting for a Necrotect for approximately 8 million years, and maybe I should just put a random Necrotect in here until we get... Yeah, that's probably the better idea, isn't it? Alright, well, we'll just get a rando in here until we're ready. Until then, we will occupy the place, and the first of the Great Idols, which we will need to be tier 3 at. Alright, so uncollect the income. Let's start the place. I was about to say growing via this, but let's start with the Obelisk instead, just just for the additional public order until it maxes itself out so that we can build buildings at 1 turn instead of however many turns. Yo. Get a Necrotect, just whichever, it doesn't really matter. How about Pertinacious, I guess, so that you can heal up, and then we'll immediately get your Restore, Stone Shaper, and Wrath of the Creator, as well as Canopic Jar Hoarder. And eventually, you'll get the one that gives you bonus speed to the rest of the army, which is what we're still waiting for. You, a Necrotect, you have the Genius Architect thing. You, do we want to keep you on the Chariot? Maybe. Being able to move with the snakes is potentially a good thing, and if you want to stay on the Chariot, you're going to get the Disciple of Sokth instead of Walat. Alright, and I believe, yes, Lich Priest will need a point as well. Alright, what do we have here? A point in Sekhmets. These guys, they tend to miscast like it's going out of style, so we should probably get the anti-miscast thing. Anyway, we gotta fight this because I feel like we'll take too much damage with the auto-resolve and the lizards will immediately attack us, so fight it we shall now. Alrighty, here we go. Probably the last fight against the Bretonnians for King Wakov, who has cut down many of them, their paladins and lords, over the course of the combat with the Leofrix Fellowship here. So we gotta enjoy cutting down a few more at last. And ooh, Wakov's up to 106 melee attack. Pretty solid there. Actually, his melee defense isn't too bad either. Alright, anyway, here we go. The battle will start, and this time we're going to move our Sepulchral Stalkers into the melee directly towards the Knights Errant here. We know from previous experience that the Sepulchral Stalkers can win against Shock Cavalry in melee, and they've defeated Knights of the Blazing Sun, which are generally stronger than Knights Errant, so we know that they can win here. Besides, we've got Wakov himself, the Tombbark, and Tomb Guard moving in to support. But all that aside, that wasn't really the reason why we charged in without softening the enemy up with range. It's because this explosive tower is here, and we need to break through the lines of Bretonnian peasants in order to get to this key capture point, or key point, I guess. We're going to charge all the peasants that we can. It looks like the Eyes of the Desert, perhaps unsurprisingly, broke through first, and out of all of our units of Sepulchral Stalkers, they're the ones most capable of fighting on their own, because they have that lethal poison on melee attack application. Oh, that's what I was thinking of the other episode. I was comparing them to the Venom Knights of Asav, who have the toxic venom. But yes. We can also always give these guys the Joff's Incantation of Cursed Blades to make them apply bleed, but anyway. The Tomb Guard will keep fighting together with the Tombbark, but it looks like the Knights Errant have indeed been defeated, and we're going to head as many of the rest of the snakes as we possibly can over to that capture point, brawl our way through all the peasants, and hopefully destroy that tower. We saw the last time we attacked, or the last few times we attacked with these armies, that the Skeleton Horse Archers just take way too long to bring a tower down. And it's probably a waste of ammunition as well. Speaking of ammunition, plenty of bow damage coming down, or arrow damage coming down on our Sepulchral Stalkers here, who have lost about 25% of their HP, though at the cost of another enemy unit of Knights Errant, so that works decently well for us. Our Tomb Guard will continue moving into the enemy settlement, including in the center, where they and one unit of Sepulchral Stalkers are trying to break through to where the enemy still has a decent concentration of troops, and I believe their lord is as well. And they do have a unit of foot squires here, so it'll take a little bit longer to deal with them than it has to deal with the peasants and such so far. And let's see how our Sepulchral Stalkers are doing. Certainly fighting in numbers. We did move the Tombbark in to help. Gotta love those Tombbarks, gotta keep them with any forces. Again, that ward save aura is really nice. And of course that mini Mortis engine effect. It doesn't do anything crazy, so these things never rack up sort of the insane amounts of damage as a Mortis engine would. Nor obviously do they heal, but it's still a nice support unit. And it makes sense, as it's a sort of like a mini Mortis engine and a much lower tier in terms of acquisition as well. I wonder if Arcan can... Well, I think Arcan actually doesn't have access to them from what I recall last time I played, which is a bit of a shame. It would be nice to have both Toonbarks and Mortis engines in an army, double up on those Mortis engine effects. Why not? But anyway, yeah, the biggest of the brawls on this side of the is rather on this side of the battlefield, with the snakes and the Toonbark fighting all those peasants. On the bright side, though, it looks like our numbers have finally outgrown those of the enemies here, and the minor supply location will fall, finally destroying that tower, which was annoying our Toon Guard with those explosive shots. In just a matter of cutting those peasants down, we're probably hopelessly terrified and also hopelessly confused at what the heck it is they're fighting exactly. I don't imagine you could easily explain what a necro serpent is to a peasant, or just any construct really, but anyway. The last unit here is a peasant mob, all the others are fleeing. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, 7 or 8 units all in this one blob. Oh, and there was a knight unit here that we had to break through as well, so well done to the snakes. Alright, out here we have another peasant mob, another unit of men-at-arms, facing off against the Toon Guard together with the snakes this time. And the Sword and Board Toon Guard will be reasonably quick at cutting down the peasants with their anti-infantry capabilities and the fact that they hit fairly decently hard. 39 base weapon damage, solid armor-piercing weapon damage as well at 14. They may be not armor-piercing in theory as compared to the halberdiers, but they do decent enough armor-piercing damage to still be capable of fighting enemy units like greatswords and foot squires and whatnot. And certainly more than enough to fight men-at-arms and such. Balance of power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and we've broken through over on this side. Out here we have the Guards of Ra, which are unfortunately unsupported relatively by all of our other units. So they've been fighting through several enemy units of peasants, or men-at-arms specifically, while these Spokal Stalkers were all the way back here chasing down the remnants of the men-at-arms and the peasants and the other peasant bowmen. Now that they're done with them, however, we're going to move them to help, as the Guards of Ra, having been fighting all alone, have been taking the most damage out of all of our units. They were also far from the Toonbark, so no support, and the Mage, so no heals either. But nonetheless, they managed to both hold the ramp, and this was mostly them cut down several units as they continued making their way up there. And with that, it looks like the enemy has realized that they have no hope. The enemy prophetess will break, and with that, the battle is ours. Very nice. There's a prophetess of beasts. I don't think she cast any flocks of doom on us. I wonder if she was just spamming Visen's wild form. Interesting. Not that the Flock of Doom would have been helpful against the Necro Serpents, I suppose, but anyway, a lovely little fight, and this way we preserved our HP, hopefully, in case the lizards attack us next turn. Alright, there we go. Solid work for everybody by the looks of it. Hundreds of kills on the Tomb Guard, the skeleton horse archers, which don't usually do as well in these minor settlement battles, because, you know, no room to maneuver and kite and whatnot. As usual, the Bark is doing well, and surprisingly, considering it's one I named, has not yet gotten itself killed. And otherwise, I think Spokal Stalkers stole the show, though they have a tendency to do that, with the 39,000 damage on the solid stone snakes, taking the prize for these guys. Lovely. Alright, we will occupy the place. And that completes this particular province. Do we want to build a defensive structure here temporarily? I think we do. We'll eventually delete it, but for now it would be better if the place can defend itself until we're ready to peace out with the lizards and give them more territory. Now, these guys are not going to be super happy about us fighting. Actually, they seem angry about us attacking Nakai, but they don't seem to care that much about us attacking his vassal, which is kind of interesting. Well, hopefully we can stay friends, if nothing else, just for the ability to, you know, maintain trade relations with them. But generally speaking, they got some stuff that we want out of their roster. Maybe if we take these territories, trade it to these guys, or the other way around. Oh, well, okay, we're probably not going to attack these guys, so yeah, take these territories and these territories. Ah, so I see the swamps are at least partially in Marshes of Madness inhabited by ogres, which means we should be able to trade them to these guys as well. I wish I knew exactly where their territories were. Let me just, let's see, 14 territories left, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably at least one here. So we want to take all of this, ignore the stuff in the ocean and stuff, and leave it to them. Leave this to potentially trade it to them for vassalage. I don't know if it'll work, but maybe. That's the plan, anyway. Can at least get some lizard units that way. Rakash. Wait, no, not Rakash, not Rakash. Wait, I think we did everything other than building, didn't we? Got a little bit of money remaining, but these guys fought, and that's the thing that we wanted to do. Alright, fair enough. Let's quickly take a look at what critical buildings we've got. Golden Age Monument, obviously. Great. Okay, we'll build a revered mausoleum. We'll wait for the upgrade because it's insanely expensive and it doesn't offer us too much in the way of things we need right now. And let's keep going for the growth buildings and the money buildings, both of which we still need. And really, we need more canopic jar buildings, which is all of these tier 4 structures. So yeah, I think we will still build the royal burial chamber here. Alright, expensive though it may be. Mortis Tarn, we've got our first Fated Pyramidion, we'll build our second one up right here, and the third one will go there, eventually. Actually, with this thing coming up, we are free to delete you two, and here we will build both of the money and the growth structures, / research structures. Eventually, the growth and research structures will probably all be replaced by the treasure tombs, but for now, they're good as they are. Alright, Swamp of Terror is fine, and Valley of Locust. Oh, we could just build the treasure tomb there. It's just not super critical right now. This is all going to the Cathians, and hopefully we can get this upgraded soon. The rest of this, Libaras. Well, we'll ignore this for now. I want to build a Pyramidion here, but who knows if it just gets attacked, so... It's basically got no defense. These guys might run from Khalida, so yeah, let's just not do that. Anyway, I think we'll hold on to the rest of the little bit of cash we have. We do want to upgrade the this thing here. That's going to take pretty much all of the money. I just want to get this up all the way to near max. With that public order, you know what, maybe even build a temporary public order structure. Delete this out of the bronze gate and replace it with another public order structure. And I guess we could upgrade you as well, instead of the Pyramidion. Yeah, this will delete in like 2 turns, but yeah, alright, looks good, looks good. Let's end the turn. Oh, commandment available, where? Tashert, that was the place that got completed. And go for the worship of construction reduction, especially if we want to build up these sandstone walls. Anyway, end turn. Oh wow, they will actually attack Khalida directly. That seems kind of insane, considering their army is garbage and we can just auto-resolve it. Give power to them, I guess, but yeah. Ain't no need for that. We'll heal up just in case, because we'll want to auto-resolve next turn. I don't know if we're in our own territory to be healing. Alright, enemy killed in battle, dynasty researched, good. The control +1 is nice, the army +1 is nicer. Great incantation of Geheb is now up and running, and that's the growth and construction time reduction, yes. As well as the Tombstorm, the Canopic Jars. Everything here is pretty nice, we'll immediately perform you. Perfection. And now, we have 4 turns until this is up and running, so we're free to start with Proclamation of the 5th Dynasty, build a few of these, maybe even unlock the pseudo-legendary lords, just to get this down to 1, and then as soon as it's 1, pop it off again. Now, there are 2 places where we need it. Oh, damn, I guess I should have healed after all. Ha. Okay, well, this might be a little bit too many while you're damaged as you are. Ooh, Necrotech check, and... oh, we... huh. I didn't get replaced. Weird. Okay. Or it did, and then the old guy just disappeared. Anyway, Khalida. I wonder if we could pop you into ambush stance. So right outside of Libaras right here. It would give us the opportunity to heal if these guys attempt to take Palace of the Scholar Kings, which admittedly is a decently high likelihood. It is what it is. You can pop into the army as well. Alright, at least we'll be at full HP, and if these guys go here, we'll still be able to destroy them. Now, a second army here would still not be able to build Sepulchral Stalkers as yet. Actually, wait. Yes, it would. Alright, yeah, we're popping up an army here. Alright, we'll do just a temporary lord. Anybody we want to keep ammunition? This could be good for a sort of artillery-focused sort of guy. Huh, actually, missile damage. Tomb Swarm at all times. It's actually quite nice. Golden Age King. Huh. I kind of like that. Maybe we'll do Golden Age King. I also don't dislike the Fire one, but it'll be another one of these Lich High Priests, and this is probably a temporary lord, so either way, we'll do Golden Age King, and I guess for you, we'll do at least 1 point in Ganopic Jar Hoarder. You're gonna, how quickly would you level? Pretty darn slowly, right? Yeah, we'll do... Let's hoard some jars and then we'll replace you. For now, we want you to sit here, and we want you to recruit. You will get as many as you can of the Spokal Stalkers. Then I would like you to build... Where are we here? Necropolis Knights. I believe a regular knight to start. Yes. Just gotta get some snakes in the army as fast as we possibly can. I'd love to build a tomb bark, and ooh, if we collect the income, we can increase the amount of troops that we recruit. Although, within the main province itself, there isn't anything critical other than potentially the tomb bark. But it might be a good idea to build it. Alright, fine. Collect the income then. Screw the public order, I guess, and build the tomb bark. I don't know if we're actually going to keep it in this army. It is a ranged unit, technically speaking, so it kind of does fit. Depending on exactly the final form of Khalida, she actually buffs, snake units a lot more than she buffs archer units, interestingly enough, so yeah. Anyway, Settra, you are done here. You have a long, long way to travel. Go... Now, would it be faster? Wait. This will take a little bit over 3 turns. This will take a little bit more than over 3 turns. Alright, I guess we're going to Karegarud first. Slightly faster to go this way by the looks of it. Fine by me. And we will want to upgrade you. Let us bump up your growth. This all needs to be traded to these guys. Hopefully they don't die in the meantime. And hopefully these guys don't attack us. We'll see. Either way, it's growing reasonably well, and I'm willing to bet it'll be worth a lot to them. Anyway, Panat, you are next, sir. I guess you'll head to Wadi El Taif here. I'm very nervous as to where these guys' main stacks are, both the Bretonnians and the Swords of Change, or whatever those guys were called, occupy. Guess we'll just have to keep risking getting severely damaged by auto-resolving. If only the auto-resolve didn't hate us as much as it did. Ooh, yes, Restless Dead at last. Okay, that one is critical to this army. Get a little bit of that heal going. You can't go for Master Builder yet. You could get Loving Creator, which, admittedly, you do have... Oh, this doesn't count Necropolis Knights. Ha. I was hoping to get them that benefit, but alas, without it. Probably not as useful. With so many... There's so many constructs in here, it might be better to actually have a second one of these guys going. I'll think about it. For now, just grab Loving Creator and we'll increase mobility as well. Anyway, who's next? Akor. I guess you have to go to the Shrunken Head Idol. We have to grab all the barrier idols. This guy has he's retreated to Galbaraz, so we're definitely going to have to fight him. Oh, and we can't do it in our current stance. Although, what we could do is we could risk an ambush right here, like so. Maybe he'll try to move forward while Hakor moves this way. And moves into the Shrunken Head's idol. And hello, I didn't stop. Ambush. There's an... Yeah, these guys are doing good. Look at all these armies. Anyway, temporary Necrotect. Go in here until we can hopefully get a better one. Let's also immediately build up the Mastaba here. One day we'll get the You guys have no idea how much I regret not building that Necrotect. The one I wanted when he popped up, since we didn't get a single copy of it afterwards. Either way, Sunscorched Bones for you, sir. Alright, the Tomb Guard are looking pretty decently tanky now. They're gonna need it, because they don't have too much support, at least while the rest of the army is, you know, snaking around doing things. You can grab Trapped Soul. And again, the Necrotects are kind of vulnerable, so let's just be careful there. Rakash... Ooh, wait, Wakaf, I just realized something. Can you reach the Salt Plain? Maybe you can. I don't know, let's just leave him where he is. I was wondering whether we should move him, you know, sort of ahead. Now you... I guess we'll want to risk this, so you're going to scout out here. Ah, never mind. Haha, that's why you use a scout. I was going to send him to Kakakidal, but you instead are going to go, again, an ambush so that they don't know you're here. Here. And maybe Urkathal will attack you. In fact, maybe you should push out forward even further. Just to see where, if Kugath is nearby. Also, did we complete that mission? Not yet. Alright. Hey, 70 allegiance. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, Fogtim, we're gonna level you because next turn you are absolutely fighting stuff. I guess we can continue through replenish troops here as well. Alright, anything else we need to do for you? I hope not. You got a solid, solid little army here. I would like to get you the Herald of the Scorpion, but I guess we'll have to wait a little bit for that. Alright, Walkop is fine. Arakash, I believe, is fine because he was gonna move, but now he's stuck until the next dynasty is up and running, so at least a few turns. I have to deliver some of this stuff, but all good. Kalida's ambushing, got 3 armies in ambush now, and Scout, you're probably going to still get deleted, but just sit there for now until I'm ready for you, or until we need your capacity to be sent to somebody else. Anyway, folks, I think with that, I'm going to call the episode here. We're in 3 ambush stances, and I'm sure that one, possibly several of them, will all succeed, but we don't have time to fight multiple battles. Oh, I didn't realize there were 2 armies here. Well, if they attack us, well, if this ambush fails, they'll both attack us, which should be a very nice fight for you. Ooh, that's exciting. You need Ancient Stone as well, right? Yeah, you don't have... That doesn't benefit you yet, but it will eventually. I also note that you don't have Canopic Jar Hoarder or Arcane Conduit. Kind of a weird setup for these guys, to be perfectly honest, that the Earthing and Magical Reserves are here instead of part of this tree, but it's all good. I guess if you want to rush through this, instead of going through this, that's great. The Restless Dead really shouldn't be more difficult to reach for the Lich High Priests than the regular Lich Priests, though. If anything, that is quite bizarre. I don't know why they decided to do it that way. Not that it's a big deal, mind you. I see, it's because they moved Jeff's Incantation of Cursed Blades out of where the Lore of Nehekar currently is, which the other guys don't have, but the bound Jeff's Incantation of Cursed Blades doesn't actually work, as in it doesn't do anything, so... it's a waste, but anyway, all good. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to call it here. I will double-check the buildings and the heroes and stuff between the episodes. When we come back, we'll end the turn and hopefully do some lots more lizard fighting, so stay tuned for that, as well as fights with Kugath, as both Settra and our new Scorpion-centric army move there, as well as Kalida, who is soon to be getting an influx of snakes as she takes on the Imperials here. Fun stuff. More to come. Stay tuned. All glory to the algorithm. Likes and comments below for long episodes. And thanks for watching.